Hey guys, and welcome back. My name is Miss Danielson, and today we're going to go through an introduction to inequality signs. Now, I realize you've probably seen inequality signs before. However, I see a lot of kids coming up from primary, and they're still very confused about what's this got to do with a crocodile? I'm with you. Let's clarify that. Okay, so inequality signs are used to show a relationship between two values which are not equal. So, for example, these two expressions here, 3 plus 4 and 7, they are equal. So I put an equal sign there. And equal signs and inequality signs speak for themselves. They don't need a crocodile to come around and tell you which number is bigger. An equal sign shows you that both sides of the equation are equal. They're the same size. This example, however, is not an equation because the two sides are not equal. 5 minus 4 is 1, and 1 is definitely smaller than 12. So rather than putting an equal sign, I pinched down the side that was smaller. So I've made that side of the equal sign smaller and the other side bigger. So this is not an equal sign. This shows me that 1 is less than 12. This is a less than sign. Again, here's an example of two expressions which are not equal. 6 times 2 is 12, and 8 times, in brackets I've got 2 minus 4, that's 8 times minus 2. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. So here clearly 12 is not equal to negative 16. 12 is bigger than negative 16. So I'll put this symbol here where I've clearly pinched down the smaller side of the equal sign. Negative 16 is smaller than positive 12. Keep that in mind. Any negative number will always be smaller than any positive number. Sometimes inequality signs are used to show a relationship between two values which may or may not be equal. Now I know what you're thinking. How is that possible? Something is equal and is not equal at the same time? Let me show you an example. Now I know the first thing that comes to mind is 13.8 cannot be equal to 14. 13.8 is clearly smaller than 14. But what if we rounded the number 13.8 to the nearest whole number? That would round up to be equal to 14. I know they're not exactly equal, but we could say that 13.8 could be seen as either equal to or less than 14. So I want to use the less than sign. I want to use the equal to sign. What sign should I use? That's why they invented this sign, combining the equal sign with the less than sign together. When you've got a less than sign, which is underlined, it means maybe they're equal, or maybe the first value is smaller. Let's have a look at our inequality signs and write them down in words. This symbol here means greater than, because when we read a number sentence together with this symbol, we say that the first value is on the bigger side of the symbol, so A is greater than B. This symbol here means less than, because when we read this in a sentence, we would say that C is on the smaller side, so C is less than D. Then we've got these greater than or equal to signs. When we underline that inequality sign, it means or equal to. So reading this in a sentence, we would say that E is on the bigger side. E is greater than or equal to F. And of course, we could write that the other way around. With this symbol going the other way, it is a less than or equal to sign, because reading it as a number sentence from left to right, we would say G is less than or equal to H. When would we use these inequality signs? In examples like this. So we've got a few different expressions here. I won't call them equations because they're not equal. And I want you to use inequality signs to fill in the blanks. So for A, 0.22, is that greater than or less than 0.7? If you need to have a look at our place value lesson, have a look in the description box down below, but we should know this. This is 22 hundredths compared with 7 tenths. First, we compare our highest place values, which is the units in both cases, and they both have zeros in the units. So looking at the next highest place value, that's the 10th position. 0.22 has a 2 in the 10th position, and 0.7 has a 7 in the 10th position. 7 is bigger than 2. Next, we got 0.1 and negative 0.5. Remember, a negative number is always smaller than a positive number. So we'll say that 0.1 is on the bigger side of this symbol. 0.1 is greater than negative 0.5. When we have two negative numbers like we do in C, you have to remember the more negative a number is, the smaller it is. So negative 13 is more negative. It's further in the negative direction from 0 than negative 8 is. So negative 8 is bigger than negative 13. Next, in example 2, we're going to simplify each expression and then use an inequality sign to fill in the blanks. So we need to show our working here. Copy the example, and underneath on each side of the expression, we are going to write our simplification. So 2 minus 7 is negative 5, and 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Which one's bigger? Remember, the negative number is always smaller than the positive number, so negative 5 is less than 3.5. For question B, we've got two multiplications to work out. 5 times 4 is 20, and 6 times 3 is 18. Clearly, 20 is bigger than 18, so we'll use the greater than symbol. 5 times 4 is greater than 6 times 3. In question C, we're comparing a fraction and a percentage. Now, I hope you're familiar with your fractions and percentages. You can use a calculator if you need to, but I think 2/5 should be one that you know. 2 divided by 5 is the same thing as 4 divided by 10 as an equivalent fraction. And 4 divided by 10 is clearly 4/10. That one you should know. And 20% you should know is 20 divided by 100, or 2 divided by 10 is 2/10. So clearly, which one is bigger? 0.4 is bigger than 0.2. So 2/5 is greater than 20%. Last example, we're going to show true or false. Is 18 greater than 9 squared? Let me give you a reminder here. 9 squared means 2 9s multiplied together. So that's 9 times 9. That's false. 9 times 9 is 81, and 18 is definitely not bigger than 81. Next, we've got 1 ton compared with 100 kilograms. Is 1 ton greater than 100 kilograms? Yes, it is. 1 ton is 1,000 kilograms, and 1,000 kilograms is obviously bigger than 100 kilograms. Finally, 4 centimeters. Is that greater than 45 millimeters? Keep in mind you've got centimeters and millimeters on your ruler. There are 10 millimeters for every centimeter. So 4 centimeters is 40 millimeters. So that one's false. Time for you to get some practice in. So you're going to copy these questions down, show your working, and when you're ready, we'll continue on to the answers. First, use inequality signs to fill in the blanks, like we've just done. Next, simplify each expression and use inequality signs to fill in the blanks. Show your working underneath. Question 3, answer true or false. Go ahead and hit pause, take your time, show your working, and when you're ready, the answers will come up. I hope you took your time to hit pause. Here come your answers. For A, that's definitely less than. B, negative 2.1 is more negative than negative 0.5. That is less than. C, negative 28 will always be less than any positive number. Question 2, I hope you remember our multiplying and dividing by base 10 decimal values. If you need a reminder, have a look down in the description box below. There's a lesson for you there. 2 times 0.1 is 2 times 1/10. That's 2 divided by 10. So that's going to be 0.2. And 20 divided by 1/10 is the same as 20 times 10. That's going to be 200. So 200 is definitely bigger than 0.2, but reading that in a sentence, I would say 0.2 is less than 200. Question B, 1 minus 8 would be -7, while 2 times 3 is 6. A negative number is always smaller than a positive number, so I would say -7 is less than 6. C, again, comparing a fraction and a percentage. 1/4, you should definitely know. 1/4 is 25% or 0.25. And any percentage you can easily convert to a decimal by dividing by 100. So 1/4, which is 0.25, is definitely bigger than 14%, which is 0.14. Last, looking at our true and falses, I hope you know your metric conversions. If not, I'll be linking a lesson down below again. True or false, 100 centimeters is greater than 1,000 millimeters. That's false, they're equal. Remember, it takes 10 millimeters to make 1 centimeter, so 1,000 millimeters divided by 10 is the same thing as 100 centimeters. Next, 150 grams is greater than 1.5 kilograms. False. 1.5 kilograms is 1,500 grams. So that's definitely the other way around. And our last one, 4 centimeters is greater than 45 millimeters. False. 4 centimeters is 40 millimeters, which is less than 45 millimeters. Now, I hope this lesson has been a helpful reminder for you. If I've left anything at all unclear, please leave me a comment down in the comment box below so I can clarify it for you. Otherwise, keep practicing, and I will see you next time.